Hi there, grade 8s. Today we're going to be talking about lesson 6.3, which is solving equations including fractions or involving fractions. So a couple of things that we're going to go over is if you have a question like this. So if you have 3/7, what can you multiply that by to get your product of 3 or your answer of 3? Okay? Or if you have 5/6 and you're multiplying it by something, what do you have to multiply it by to get your product of 5? All right, so in this situation, what we essentially are trying to do is we're trying to get our answer here of 3 and 5. Okay, so first of all, I'm going to want to eliminate this 7. So what can I multiply the 7 by, or the sevenths by to get 7? So I'm going to multiply both by 7. Okay, so when I multiply those together, it eliminates it. So then I get 3 equals 3. Okay, in the second situation, I have 5/6 times a number. I'm trying to figure out what that number is. Okay, so I need to try to eliminate that 6 so that I can get 5 equals 5. So I try to go 6/6. Okay, when it's multiplying, just a reminder, when we were doing our fractions, so if we had like 3/8, times 2/3, for example, it's the same as saying 3 times 2/8 times 3. Okay, so the lines line up. They're identical to each other. So what we're trying to do is we're actually trying to figure out how to solve the problems or how to manipulate the variables. Okay, so if we have, for example, like n/8 equals, let's say 4, for example, in this situation, okay? What I'm trying to do is I'm trying to get n by itself. I don't want to know what n over something is. I want to know what n alone is. So I'm going to have to do opposite operation. So when I bring this over to the other side, it was division. Now it's going to become multiplication. So now I have n equals 4 times 8. So n equals 32. Then I can check. So I can say 32 divided by 8 equals 4. Okay, how many times can 8 go into 32? Well, it can go in 4 times, so 4 equals 4. So that situation I know is correct. Okay, now I've got on the board behind me, I've got some questions. I'm going to bring it closer so that you can see. Pause the screen or pause the video. Try to answer these questions as best you can. And then I'm going to go over each one of them. So make sure you pause it, and as soon as you hit play, I'm going to be going over the answers right away. So the first one, we have n/5, or n/4 equals 5. Okay, I want to isolate n. I want to get it by itself, so I'm going to take my 4, I'm going to do the opposite operation of division, which becomes multiplication. So I have n equals 5 times 4, n equals 20. Okay, so I'm going to check it. 20/4 should equal 5. How many times can 4 go into 20? Well, 4 times 5 equals 20. So I have 5 equals 5. So that's my answer for the first one. To move on to the second one, I have c/40 plus 6 equals 26. So once again, my goal is to get c by itself. I want to isolate that variable. So I'm going to get rid of this first. So I'm going to do the opposite operation. So I'm going to minus 6 from both sides. So now I have c/40 equals 20. Okay. Now I want to get rid of this. So I'm going to bring it to the other side. It's going to become the opposite operation. So times 40. 20 times 40 is 800. Okay, 800 should be my answer. So I'm going to check. It's going to say 800/40 plus 6 equals 26. Okay, how many times can 40 go into 8 or 4 go into 4 go into 80? Well, it can go in 20 times. So 20 plus 6 equals 26. So I have 26 equals 26. So that one worked out great. Okay, so I got my answer of 800. The next one, I have t over 5 equals 6. So this is kind of an easier one compared to the last one. I want to get t by itself. So I'm going to take the 5, bring it to the other side, do the opposite operation. So it becomes times 5. So I have t equals 30. So let's check. 30 over 5 equals 6. How many times can 5 go into 30? 5 times 6 equals 30. So I'm going to get 6 equals 6. All right. The last one. This one's probably the most challenging one because we have an integer involved. So we have p over negative 3 plus 9 equals 3. All right, let's see what we do here. So we got to get rid of this first. So we're going to subtract 9 from both sides. So we have p over negative 3 equals negative 6. So we have 3 minus 9 gives us negative 6. So now I need to isolate my p. So I'm going to take this to the other side. It stays negative, but instead of division, it becomes multiplication. So I have negative 6 times negative 3. So p equals, when I have two negatives multiplied together, I get a positive. So I get positive 18. Well, let's see if that works. So 18 over negative 3 plus 9 equals 3. All right, how many times can 3 go into 18? 6 times. So I have negative 6 plus 9 equals 3. Negative 6 plus 9 equals 3, which equals 3. So my left side and my right side equal. All right. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're going to go and do your math makes sense. 9.3. Make sure that you do the Google form. Submit your math makes sense homework to the Google Classroom assignment. If you have any questions, send me a hangout, send me an email, join the Zoom chat. Just let me know because I'm here to help you. All right, have a great day.